The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. As we approach the end of our Alamand campaign, we very much enjoyed having you along for the ride. Join us as our party of heroes discusses what they know so far and what their plans are in Kalam'Te's home of Amarash. Enjoy the podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com, on iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher Radio, all over the place. We're going to quickly go around the table and say hi, starting with...
Hi, everyone. This is Mickie. I play Nessalus, the tiefling warlock, mistress of rituals. Go ahead.
There you go.
Very nice.
Not so bad.
That was spot on.
Right
JJ
on.
here, playing Kalam'Te, also known as Mitty, not Smitty.
Not Snitty.
She is not smitten.
I'm still calling him Smitty.
Nice.
Paladin of Commerce.
Just don't call me Susan. Hey, it's Kurt. I am playing Truk, the monk-like druid, or the druid with some monk tendencies.
He's got a little monk in him.
I was down in the hole, but I'm not anymore.
Nice.
Hi, this is Brittany. I'm playing Elena, the human Pal Barfy.
And I am Joe. I'm the game master for our Dungeon World campaign set in the world of Alamand. As we're getting close to the end of our campaign, one of the things we're doing in this for the beginning of this episode is each character was given an opportunity to level up and grab something new from their character class, and we're going to take a minute and talk about that. We're going to start in the reverse order, starting with Brittany.
I went really simple. I put a point into my Constitution so that I would have one more hit point. And then I took Duelist's Block, which is an update of Duelist's Parry, which previously allowed me to take +1 armor forward after doing a hack and slash. Now I take +2.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice. Awesome.
I'll forget to use it.
And for those of you listening at home, we're a little loose with how we do our level ups. If you're playing Dungeon World, generally you're looking at XP and bonds and all that stuff. We do look at that stuff, but for podcast purposes, sometimes we just level up when we think it's appropriate for story purposes. And to that end, I added a point to Charisma so that it brings my modifier from 0 to 1. And I did that because I wanted to take an advanced move called Evil Eye. That allows me to, when I enter combat, to roll plus Charisma. And depending on how well I roll, I get a certain number of holds that I can spend. I can spend the hold to make eye contact with an NPC who is present. An NPC who is present, who freezes or flinches and can't act until I break it off. But if I roll a 6 or less, my enemies immediately identify me as their biggest threat.
Nice.
Which is not exactly a bad thing as the tank.
If he were the tank, but you are Calamity.
Oh, I am.
And what did you grab for your level up?
Oh, I snagged Perfect Knight, which allows me to, when on quest, take 3 boons.
Oh.
And speaking of quests, I'm going to actually try to take on a quest of Discover the Emperor's Truth. And as far as a stat increase, I actually chose Charisma, which now gives me a +3.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. I'm pretty.
He is way
You're
commercial now.
Super charismatic, Smitty.
Super charismatic Mitty.
And Nessalus, as Nessalus, elected to add to my Constitution to add another hit point, and also picked up Mystical Puppet Strings. So essentially what that means is when I use magic to control a person's actions, they have no memory of what I had them do and bear no ill will. So after I dominate, then I do the puppet strings.
So
and they don't even
you
remember.
Roofie them.
Roofie them.
And dominate.
Exactly.
And dominate.
I would like to point out
It's in
that both
pill
of
form.
the girls took Constitution for their hit points, and both of the guys took Charisma.
Fluffy.
Perfect.
So
Well, speaking of the guys,
Yeah.
I'm going to
So
recap the last
very
episode.
pretty.
Yeah, Kurt's going to get us from our last episode into the current one. Go ahead.
Awesome. This will be a quick recap because we did not roll a single attack roll last time or damage roll. But a lot happened. Truk had to go down into the chasm to try to rescue Kalam'Te. The earth was crashing in around them, but Nessalus made a cage around us to protect us just long enough for me to get the rope down to him.
She gave you guys the shaft.
Yeah.
She did.
Just a
Shut
tip.
In exchange for the rope, Truk earned a 1 million gold piece IOU from Kalam'Te, who scrambled up to the top using his strength. Truk then very dexterously bounded off the side of the force cage to the top, and everyone was safe.
It was assisted parkour.
It was assisted parkour. That's exactly what it was. After freeing themselves, the team undertook a perilous journey and moved to the kingdom of Amarash. After working through the low town slums where the poor and lower middle class live.
Well, you guys are still in Low City, by the way. You haven't made it into High City yet.
After working through much of Low Town, they ended up hearing a summons from a stranger in an alley. Obviously, a stranger to 3 of the 4, but someone known to Kalam'Te. They followed this voice and learned that the voice was from an old friend, Nassan, who had known Kalam'Te from his youth in Amarash. The party retired to a tavern, the Amber Grains of Sand, where they
Amber Waves of Sand.
Yes. Where they discussed the current situation in Amarash and learned that the Emperor has been driven mad by some force, that evil is in the land. They have seen the physical manifestation of that, with almost all the green being gone and the land being drained. And they also heard that Nassan and the people believe that 3 people are the keys to unlock the lock that will potentially save their emperor. And those 3 people are Nico Saint,
yeah.
The
druid.
Druid Druganah, and Sensei Rashan from the Wado Zaishan Monastery.
They were captured for information, but yes. And just as a clarification, the people in general don't know, but the higher-ups do, right? So the Emperor knows, the mages who did the research. So Nico knows somewhere in his lost mind.
And equally
important. So those people were captured for information, but then, correct me if I'm wrong, they think that there are 3 paragons who are the keys, and that those paragons are Kalam'Te, Elena, and
Sensei.
Yes.
And Sensei.
So those
Rashan.
3 must be used to open the seal, as it were.
That's what they think.
Yeah. And we're picking up in Mountain's Majesty, which is the inn attached to the Amber Waves of Sand tavern. So the next morning, you guys wake up. Maybe could be a time to grab some breakfast and talk over what you might want to do for the day.
I'm making breakfast burritos.
You're just going to walk into the kitchen?
Yep.
Who do you know here? Because it is your old favorite tavern.
It is. And Naomi,
okay.
She's the cook here. And I walk in, I give her a hug, and I take my old place on the line.
Okay, and she's one of these women that you can't quite fit your hands around.
Exactly,
as big as
she's
you
very
are.
portly.
And she's like a barrel though. She's not necessarily fat. She's just really big.
It's a whole lot of woman.
It is. It's a whole lot of Naomi.
And I used to be a short order cook here when I needed a place to stay. So I'd take my place on the line and I just start making some burritos for everybody.
And there's that old wooden spatula that you used to use that she hung up on the wall when you left, and it's still up there with a slight coating of dust on it, waiting for you to return to your station.
Do not clean the dust off.
Wash it first, please.
Do not clean the dust off.
Wash it.
So Calamity goes into the kitchen to help cook, and I'm going to say that Nessalus and Truk sit down at a table, and Elena's up just a few minutes later. And it may take a minute or so, or a few moments at least, to register for you as this commoner sits down at your table.
Well, I was going to sit at a different table as to not draw suspicion to myself.
Well, then you don't even recognize her to start.
Don't even
How
recognize
about that?
her.
I'll buy that.
Don't even see her. What the hell happened?
Do these people
So
have,
you guys may be wondering where Elena is.
Where
at
happened
this
to
point.
Elena?
Blue cheese bread?
Of course they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Pine nut bread with blue cheese. Yeah.
Sure.
Of course.
That's what we had at the other plate.
It's good stuff. When you remember something, you remember it. Calamity, you finish up the meal for your compatriots.
I don't want your burrito. I want.
It is possibly
continue with
that
this.
came out
Euphemism.
It is possibly the
I
most
want
fragrant
2
burrito you have
eggs
ever
over
smelled.
easy. And
They're
bacon.
actually
That didn't come
inside
out
of the
right.
burrito. It's a special that he makes, which has 2 eggs over easy. And
Well,
bacon.
yeah, and if you hold it too tightly, it explodes.
Yes. Yes. When you get it near your mouth, you
bite into it.
Yeah,
it just leaks all over the place, down your chin and everything.
Oh God!
So over breakfast, maybe
over
Elena is sitting at a nearby table so she can hear the conversation as Kalam'Te, Truk, and Nestlis.
So we don't know she's there at all. Like I have no sense of her at all.
I mean, it shouldn't take long to figure out that she did come downstairs and is sitting somewhere else.
Since I can pierce lies.
It's not a lie. It's obfuscation. In plain sight, as you said.
I know.
I mean, you saw the ritual. You should see what I look like now. So
she is not sitting there saying, "I'm not Elena. I'm not Elena." because that would be a lie.
Well, whenever she's saying it in her head, and then she overhears it.
There you go. But in reality, you guys would realize that she probably casts enough glances over at the table. At some point, you exchange a little, nod or a wave of a hand.
Oh, she's definitely doing the tee-hee-hee.
Yeah.
yeah,
you don't even see
She has
me.
the same voice.
Tee, I'm short now.
All right, so you gather together for your breakfast, and if Kurt, if you want to go over a little bit of what we talked about offline to try and make sure the party is clear as to what we know at this point.
Right. So yesterday when we were talking with Nassan, he talked about...
let me interrupt for a moment. This might be a good opportunity for either Elena to walk by or Nestlis to walk by Elena and tap for the telepathic bomb so you guys can all still have a conversation.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because I want to be like...
All right, why don't you go tap that?
In suspense.
You want me to go tap that?
That way you guys can still have a party conversation without worrying about logistics.
So
just don't double
You're going
tap.
to initiate? You can't double tap on a...
Yeah.
Well, unless it's zombies.
So who's going to... You hang up first. No, you hang up first.
You want to do it first? You want to walk by and be like...
All right, so it's done. Now go ahead.
We were taking too long.
Minute 30 of the podcast deciding who tapped who.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd tap that.
And then I'd untap and tap it again.
You have to. You're up
tap
to
that so hard it does not untap on its controller's next untap phase.
Yeah.
All right. So yesterday when we were talking with Nassan, he implied that the Emperor and those in power think that 3 people who are examples of a particular virtue are the keys that they can use to unlock the vault that will
essentially,
that holds the secret that they seek.
And you having the scroll,
Right.
you know that there was a seal placed there, so you could talk about it as a seal as well, right?
Exactly. So based on the scroll that we got from the mages back at the Arcus Arcanum, I think that their understanding of the situation is flawed. They don't know what we know about the swords, and that the swords themselves are actually the 3 parts that together make the key that will be able to be used to open the tomb where the soul of darkness was sealed away in the tomb under Amarash. You guys probably remember the soul of darkness is Dantalion's source of power, and that is what drove Nico insane, and is probably what's driving the Emperor insane now. So I'm still in shock at the fact that Sensei Rashan is alive, but when Sensei Rashan...
I love how he does the little karate motion when he says his name.
I'm doing shoot the uke. This is a knife hand block here while I talk. Obviously he was taken
Did you say
from...
you're doing shoot the Wookiee?
No, I would never shoot a Wookiee. Don't make the Wookiee mad. He must have been taken from the monastery and likely had his sword with him. So... given that we have 2 of the 3 swords mentioned in the prophecy, if the Emperor has the 3rd, then we're potentially close to being able to either open or seal the tomb, as we decide we need to. What do you think we should do?
We should probably wait. Like my initial thought is go in, do something now, go in guns blazing, just light them up on fire. Fireball the shack.
# chaotic neutral.
Well,
but I won't.
Hassan thought that we should wait for some reason to see what happens at this assembly today.
Yeah, Hassan did not know what the demonstration was today because it's been kept secret, but thought that since it's something the Emperor said is going to bring new light to the kingdom, a new age of Amarash, he felt that it's probably a smart idea for you guys to observe inconspicuously.
I'm supposed to tell Truk he smells funny.
Oh, okay.
from Elena.
Nice.
As long as it's just Truk and not Kurt.
All right. So, Calamity, what is your impression of what's going on?
It's
Kurt,
not
you so
you.
fine.
I mean, I'm really drawn to doing what Nathan says and waiting for the moment in the bazaar. I think we should go to the East Gate and meet our conspirators.
Okay.
And go to the High City through the East Gate.
Okay.
Now, when Calamity left Amarash 4 years ago to go adventuring and gather wealth for the Empire, was he was a relative nobody, or who was he?
He was a relative nobody, but he didn't think that.
Okay.
Like, he would fist bump people on the streets, and
All right.
he was that guy.
So
He thought he was cooler than he was.
he was cool, but only in his own circle?
Yeah.
That type of thing? Okay.
So not much has changed then, huh?
Yeah. Pretty much.
But you guys are his circle now, so you all think he's cool.
He's a legend in his own mind.
Yeah.
Legend. Wait for it.
Jerry.
All right. So you guys gather up after eating your delicious breakfast of whatever it happened to be at the time, whether it be the pine nut bread or a burrito or just a couple of eggs over easy.
2 eggs over easy with bacon, please.
There you go. Finish up your breakfast. What would Truk eat for breakfast? Would he eat a burrito?
He would. He wouldn't
Yeah.
have back in the day, but now
Yeah.
the influence of his friends has rubbed off on him, and he realizes what a good cook Mickie is. So he'll try anything.
He's become more open-minded.
He'll try
Yeah.
anything twice.
He'll put the
Nice.
burrito in his mouth.
Wants to try it second time to make sure he didn't like it the first time.
All right. So when you guys get together, you head off towards the East Gate. What kind of neighborhoods do you have to walk through in the couple of mile trek towards the East Gate?
they're the Oriental town,
Okay.
and
It's racist.
It's
It's a Chinatown.
Actually, no, to be fair, you're going around the east side, so you're in the far east,
exactly.
right?
Can I just say, before we set out,
Yeah.
Truk would have grabbed his staff like he does
Okay.
every morning.
Yeah.
His actual staff.
He polished
Jesus,
it up.
you guys are a bunch of perverts. I honestly, in my
I
life,
didn't even join in the burrito joke.
I am the biggest pervert in my life, and I'm like the least perverted person at this table.
Nice.
It's crazy. I would actually grab my staff like I would every morning when I leave.
No.
And instinctively, I
You still
check my connection with the earth to see if I can, like I would have back in the day, communicate with
Okay.
Frederica. And, I've been getting nothing for
Okay.
the entire time of this journey. But I wake up in the morning, I grab it, I check, I got nothing.
So now,
Yeah.
today, when you grab Frederica,
He's got wood?
you do get, yes, you do have wood in your hand.
Yes.
And
I love it when I would.
this is something I did send to Kurt separately. So it's however you want Truk to react to your connection to Frederica.
I'm curious,
Today
how
you
often
actually
do you
establish
wax
a
it to keep
connection.
it supple?
It's part of the daily ritual.
I don't wax it with anything other than the motion of my hand up and down the shaft,
Okay.
which wears it over time.
Wears it over time and leaves it nice
Okay.
and smooth.
God, I hope no children listen to this podcast ever.
Aside from us.
Like, come on.
I can't believe I'm the most mature person at this table, except for maybe Joe.
Maybe, Joe.
Maybe.
That depends on the day.
Yeah.
So this morning, I actually, when I kind of touched my hand, I mean, this is not a big deal. It's not like a big ritual. I just take my staff, I tap it on the ground. It's almost out of habit. And this day, unlike what I've felt for the last weeks, I actually get feedback from the staff, and essentially, I can tell that Frederica is speaking to me, communing with me through the staff, and she is saying, "Free him. He cannot be allowed to die. Free him. He cannot be allowed to die. There is none prepared to take his place. Nature suffers much now and will surely fade if he passes."
Wow. So you probably have an idea.
So
of who Frederica's
that's when
talking.
you tap the staff on the floor. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's like, Frederica's telling me, "Man, you got to go save the Red Wizard." And I'm like, no, just kidding. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
So she obviously wants me to find and save Druganah,
Yeah.
the Wild Walker.
Remember, in Wint and since, although it's springtime, things are turning brown, not green.
Mm-hmm.
So there are bad things happening in nature at this time.
Right, and it's not just, I mean, it's all over the land, because we heard about that from the mages in their scroll, and we've seen that here in Amarash.
Yes.
So
that was nice.
On the one hand, I'm excited that I have that link back, or at least did for a moment, but it also stresses the importance that we can't just be sitting around.
Let's get things done.
So heading towards the east gate, you pass through Far East Town.
Yeah. There's also, for those of you who care, there's evidence that this area was populated by a local population before
Louder.
this empire, supplanted it, and so the original population of this area have been forced out and into the lower city.
Okay. So as you get to the east gate, there are the guards at the east gate seem to know to look for Calam'Te. And when they see him, they do that quick sideways glance to make sure that nobody else is watching. And both of them kind of do a half bow towards Calam'Te and say, "Heir, you are welcome to enter. Do it quickly."
Huh?
And they usher you
and
through.
then go through.
Air? What's this air they're talking about?
I don't know.
They immediately return to their very rigorous. They were kind of nonchalant in letting you get through. They were
vigilant.
very rigorous in now watching for others to make sure only the right people get through. But you guys are ushered in, and you're allowed to go inside into the bazaar. Now, this area is it's like standing room only. It's wall-to-wall people. And the whole area probably holds, I'd say, maybe 10, 15,000 people. There's a lot of people standing here. There are numerous guards. What type of pole armor, what does it look like, the guards, the high guard? What do they look like?
I believe it's called a kopesh.
Okay.
So it's a long blade, and at the tip there's a mix of a half moon axe, a spear tip, and a spike on the backside.
Nice.
And almost it's kind of like, think of the royal guard everywhere. They're carrying something that looks ceremonial, but you still wouldn't want to be stabbed with it.
Yeah.
It's that type of weapon. And they're dressed in the...
like the Vatican people.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They're dressed in that type of thing, too. It's almost ceremonial garb draped over armor. And the entire area is abuzz with excitement. It's like everybody is really excited to hear what the Emperor has for news for this great new age for Amarash. And you see ahead of you, it's a couple of 100 yards off, think people are surrounding like a center stage. And in the center stage, you see what is clearly very similar to Nesselis' spell, Cage. Inside of these bubbles hovering just over the ground, you can see Sensei Rayshawn look like he's beaten to an inch of his life. He's collapsed on the ground or on the floor of this bubble. You see Nico just kind of staring around like all the voices in his head are all these people around him right now. And it's like he's almost at home. All these noises that he hears in his head are outside as well for the first time in forever for him. And aside from that is Nassan and several others of the council kind of sitting on stone altars facing out. So it's like a circle facing out, and it looks like we're just waiting for the Emperor to show up in the middle.
Speak to them telepathically.
I want to make sure we all stay on as far away from the center stage as possible.
I want to reach out to the sensei and tell him...
It's a cage. Nothing gets in or out.
Nothing gets in or out. Damn it.
Yeah. But it's clearly him. I mean, Troop knows, without a doubt. As you also maybe fan out a little and look around, you see around the other side of the circle, there's another bubble hanging in the air, and Drugana indeed is in there. He looks like he's sitting and meditating, but has no connection to the earth. You can sense a feeling of loss from him.
Oh, no. All right, so what's the plan? What are we blowing up?
And this is where that feeling of go against your nature you feel.
Fine. I'll wait.
So not blowing something up. Interesting. I like it.
right, I won't blow it up yet.
I won't save anyone.
She's like starting to get twitchy.
Twitch. Put your hand over her mouth, quick. So I'm curious
I can't,
now.
I'm
Do
inconspicuous.
you look like a tiefling now?
No, she would have disguised herself to look like one of the local
Normal-ish.
local
Are you supposed to look like
Amarash.
Elena?
No, we didn't go with that plan. We just masked you.
Okay.
So
My
I'm-
plan was to go both ways there.
Interesting.
So you want to be masked?
So that there is still an Elena.
Well, maybe later.
I forgot to mention that in the recap. The fact
Eh.
that Elena doesn't look like Elena.
And we can talk about it a little now. As that happens, you guys are in there. Elena pretty much has the freedom to just walk around as she will and not be, not have attention drawn to her. I mean, it's one of these things that the other three characters, you may turn away from Elena for a moment, and when you look back, she must have gone in the crowd somewhere. But no, actually, she's standing right there. She's just completely camouflaged amongst the natives, as it were.
Like a gray man.
Hey.
There went the phone.
Yeah, so is there anything you're going to do before the Emperor appears and starts his...
No, I kind of want to wait for
Yeah.
some outside stimuli.
I really want to blow something up, but I won't.
In addition to... I'm sorry.
Go
In
ahead,
addition to, like, the spell making her look completely blended in and everything,
Yeah.
her outfit has changed to look like everyone around her
Yep.
to sort of fit in. And it's also kind of masking the fact that she does have her sword on her.
Okay.
So Elena has gone from Elena to Blasé.
Yes. You have, perhaps, I mean, maybe it's standard fare in the area for people to wear some kind of messenger bag or fanny pack or something, and your sword looks like that.
Joe, I know that nature is being strained, but can I try to do Communion of Whispers
Yes.
when I spend time in a place?
You may always try. The die roll
Right.
represents how it worked.
So this is that when I spend time in a place, I can make note of its resident spirits, call on the spirits of the land, and hopefully be granted a vision of significance.
And this is a druid move, and you have established a connection with Frederica this morning, so it makes sense that you could tap your staff on the ground again onto it's the whole area. This is an interesting part of the bazaar area. It is clearly sand you are walking on, but it is hard. So if you reach down to pick it up, you can grab a handful of like beach sand, but once you let it down, it goes back into a hard surface.
Right.
It's self-cleaning too, which is great for
good
a
roll.
bazaar.
I rolled 9 plus 3, so 12.
Okay.
On a 10 plus, the vision will be clear and helpful to me, and this is a vision of significance to me, my allies, and the spirits around me.
The connection you have reaches down into the ground, and you see a vision in your head of a labyrinth of tunnels underneath the city. And right before the vision clears, you see right in the middle of the bazaar itself, and in the middle of your vision, is a stone platform that is raising up with what looks like an ancient man on it. And just as your vision clears, everyone sees the Emperor arise out of the middle of this circle that the council is sitting in facing outwards. He arises up through the middle of that circle. This is his place of power in ceremonial events.
Nice
And
trick.
It's pretty neat. Calamity sees a man who looks like he has aged 200 years in the last 5.
Oh, wow.
This guy, when you left, he was a man of about 55 or so, and all of his wrinkles were just day-to-day wrinkles. Now every wrinkle seems to have a shadow in it. There's something dark about the man, and he looks like he could be 300 or 400 years old. He is an ancient shell of what he was, and every feature about him appears warped and distorted. His hands are like claws. His nose is like a hook. And even his clothing appears sharp, even though it's all draped in some way or another, some fine silk with, gold filigree and what have you, but it all seems sharp and jagged. He rises up in the center, and he puts his arms up in kind of the victory, the V victory, and he's turning around and...
Looks like the old king in Lord of the Rings.
It wasn't a king. It was a steward.
The steward.
That guy.
There.
God.
I was thinking Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, even darker. But yeah, that kind of idea that this guy he just looks messed up as in he was kind of an okay guy, and now he is really gone. He looks around, and his voice echoes in a very unnatural way all around. And he starts to address the crowd, and I'm just going to give you a summary rather than trying to go through a whole long speech, because he's going to talk for like an hour. Okay, this guy is just
long-winded.
Yes, and he is very full of himself, and the entire time he's talking about how all of the subjects of the empire are ready to witness a grand new day where a new power will take over and help the empire achieve greater glory than it ever could before. And he is very... it's very commanding, almost every word. Think of, and I hate to use a reference, but think of all the old movies you see where, as creepy as Hitler is, everyone's behind him in every one of his speeches. This is the kind of thing. The crowd is in a fervor. He's beating the right notes in his tenor, and everything is working perfectly. As creepy as it is to you guys, not having lived here for a while, or ever.
He's got a +3 to charisma.
Oh,
He's got a plus
at
like
least
5 to charisma.
And he's got some spell going that helps him out, right? So everybody is just they're cheering along with him. He pauses for the right dramatic moments, and everybody's ready and hanging on his words. About 3/4 of the way through his speech, Kalam'Te, you notice that Nassan has started. He has been surveying the area, and his eyes focus on you. He knows where you are now.
Okay.
And towards the end of the speech, the Emperor's talking about how, with this new power, his reign could last forever, and he never needs to be supplanted. And he's starting to plant these seeds with the people that he is their emperor forever. And in a weird, twisted moment, Nassan leaps out of his stone chair. And he points towards your direction, and he says, "That is the rightful heir of the empire, and his name is..." And right before he says the name, the emperor reaches out and touches Nassan, who just falls lifeless to the ground.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
And he says, "With no more interruptions, we will proceed on this glorious new day." And the emperor looks over in you guys' direction, and he sees Kalam'Te. And he points to him and he says, "Seize him and his companions. They will serve to give our empire new life."
Can I blow it up now?
How do you guys react to this? You are probably in the middle of an unwinnable situation, but how would you handle that?
Yeah, this is definitely a retreat and regroup sort of situation.
There's only about 15,000 people. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
The labyrinth that I saw in my vision was... Do I think that the entrance to that is the platform that the Emperor came up on?
Well, that's definitely one entrance, but there's no way you have that many caves without other entrances.
Right.
Now, I guess to make it a little clearer for your vision, because you had a good vision, but the point of it was to say that the next piece of this will be happening in that area. The underground, you guys knew about the tomb where the things are sealed. You now have a vision of where that is. Not necessarily how to get there, but...
Yeah. I mean, is that a place that we could try to escape to?
Anywhere. Kalam'Te grew up here. He probably knows some place that you guys could escape to.
Yeah, I think there's... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the...
So he takes the lead here, grabs onto you guys and says...
Let's go.
Yeah.
Vámonos.
Vámonos.
Arriba.
While we're moving, can I be looking for anything that I
There's
think...
a little dust cloud behind him. Poof.
Anything that might be an entrance?
You let your
or
friends
a
die in
staircase
vain.
down?
You are discerning realities. Let's do that, Kurt.
All right.
So that's a wisdom roll, and of course
It
it's a
is.
basic move.
As he's looking around, can I throw a
Would we
fireball
be
behind
considered in
him?
combat? Do I get my +1 to...
You are not in combat at this point. Nobody's fighting anyone else. Go ahead.
I can't throw a fireball?
What is the modifier on this? Intelligence?
Wisdom.
Good.
Discern realities. Do you have a basic move sheet handy?
No.
If not, there should still be some right
Oh, yeah, I
here.
have one right here.
All right, Kurt has one. So you're doing a discern realities.
Yep. All right.
So you are, at this point, as Kalam'Te is rounding you up, you are taking a moment to closely study your surroundings. So...
I rolled a 5 plus 3 wisdom is 8. On a
Okay.
7 to 9, I ask one question from the list below.
Now, what you're looking for, essentially, you said you're looking for a way to get underground?
Right, which I think would be what should I be on the lookout for.
Okay.
Or what here
What
is
here is
useful and
useful.
valuable to me is probably
Yeah.
better.
So I'm going to combine the two in that Truk mentions, you can mention that he quickly mentions the vision he just had. And in that vision, there was an entrance over to the whatever direction. And Kalam'Te, that's where you were headed already.
Okay.
So it's confirmation that you're going in the right direction.
Good.
And where is this? Is it under an establishment? Is it at the end of an alley? What kind of thing did you experiment with as a child that led you to find this place?
So there was a legend that there was a random staircase that was in an alley, and everyone always. The legend was
the legend of the random staircase.
Well, no,
In the alley.
it went to hell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
The
definitely
legend
go
descended
there.
to hell. Like,
Yeah.
And it's a long stairway going down into basically nothing to a door. And I was the only one brave enough to actually go the whole way to the door.
Okay.
At least amongst the neighborhood kids.
It's the kind of thing that the certain parents would threaten their children with sending them to the
Exactly.
staircase. Right.
Okay. And so I went to the door, and there was always this weird symbol on it, and there was no knob or any way to open it that I could discern.
When you arrive there, you realize that puzzle is actually remarkably similar to the puzzles you found in the underground mansion of Nico Saint.
Interesting.
Perhaps it was him who originally closed these doors.
Oh, recollection is coming back to us.
Crazy?
Totally.
So the door you face has symbols that, oddly enough, seem like things you've done before. One symbol looks just like the symbol that created the first tweet. There's a symbol like that. There's a symbol similar to the shape of Calam'Te's sword. There's a symbol that looks like some of the tapestries at the monastery, and there's a symbol of the Temple of Light from the Order. It's like this door was made in preparation for you guys to arrive.
How convenient.
And as the four of you reach where the door is, it opens.
Nice.
And the smell of ancient comes through.
Exactly how does that smell?
Really, really old. It depends.
Dank, like dirty underwear.
Pretty much the same thing the Emperor
Your dirty
smells.
underwear or my dirty underwear? 'Cause
Your
there's a
dirty
big
underwear.
difference.
Like your dirty underwear. Can we close the hallway behind us?
As soon as you walk through the door, it closes behind you.
But the walkway down here?
What about
the
it?
stairway down here?
The stairway leads down to the door, as JJ described it.
Do you want to
And
avalanche us in?
the door, after you pass through the door closes behind you.
So someone would just end up at the door, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. I can live with
Like
that.
Calam'Te knows, nobody ever goes through the door, and he was only, as far as he knows, the only one ever brave enough to actually approach it.
Yeah,
The
well,
Emperor's
amongst the
people
kids.
might come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Emperor's people might come in.
I doubt they can get through this door. This door is magical.
Store's magical.
And it was very thick, too. It's one of those doors that when it opened, it looked like it was too thick to actually fit where it was, and then when it closes, it kind of like fits back into its natural position.
Well, that went well.
And you do hear the commotion of people on the other side of the door. You were clearly followed.
Yeah.
That went
Is it
well.
light? Can we see the hallway forward?
Yes. It is light like a single candle just out of range that you can't see where the light's coming from. And there's a slight flicker in the air. Not necessarily, it's not the lights on the wall that flicker, but it's almost like the heat vision coming off of asphalt, that kind of flickering in the air. That's where the light's coming from.
So, what was the plan again?
To escape the situation. Now it's time to make the plan.
Well, what about your friend, Nan?
Hassan?
Nassan.
Thank
Nom.
you.
That guy.
Hassan? He's
I
Hassan.
would definitely go for some bread right now.
What happened to Hassan?
No, I mean,
Nassan. Nasan.
Horrible with names. Let's try it again.
Alyssa knows.
I wish you
What
would stop calling me Tent.
what happened to the Assad?
What happened
Yeah,
to
that guy.
Hassan?
He was struck down, but I don't know why he called me out like that right then and there.
Yeah,
Like,
what was up with that? I thought he was
I know, he said you were the sea of the empire or the earth of the empire or something.
something about
I
an
was-
air.
Oh, the air
The
of the
true
empire.
air.
Yeah.
It's like the canned air from
Well,
Druidia.
It's the canned air.
I mean, Calam'Te, he mentioned your bloodline. I mean, obviously you have to be descended from someone important here in Amarash.
Oh, that's exactly what he needs. More importance.
Well, polish.
It would be nice if it actually had a basis in reality.
I wonder if he's thinking something like, this has got to be worth something, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know why he risked his life. That was stupid.
Could be.
Maybe he loved you.
It seemed worth
He definitely did.
Yeah.
As a friend, as a brother, as an ally.
But, I mean, to give his life so futilely,
I don't understand it.
maybe he was actually... maybe it was a warning. Maybe it was all a warning of some sort.
I don't know.
He must not think it's futile if he went to so much trouble to tell you.
Huh.
Well, with your connection to the Earth, do you think you can guide us down to what that room you had a vision of?
Well, you guys
Try.
sort this out. I need to go consult with my diary. A lot's been happening today.
Okay.
And
Now's the time to do that, really?
She can't walk and read at the same time.
I can't walk and talk, and you guys are trying to figure out what we're going to do next. I can't walk and talk. That sounded bad.
Hey, what are
I
you gonna
can't
do?
walk and write.
Can I
Yeah.
put my hands on the...
You are surrounded
Yeah.
by Earth.
Right. So I get nothing more from just tapping my staff on the earth. So I'm going to get down, sit, put my hands on the earth, and see what I can feel. Would this be?
Still the same move, right? You're still looking for a communion of whispers, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
The buffalo are that way.
Yep.
What's that?
The buffalo are that way.
Yeah. I hear 7 men on horses.
I rolled 6 plus 3 for 9. I missed the best by 1. So on 7 and 9, the vision is unclear and its meaning murky.
Okay.
Although, hang on.
Hang on.
I got a +1 forward maybe from my last one because I take a +1 forward when I act on my last
Then
vision.
that is exactly correct because you are acting on that last vision.
So that would be a
Hey,
10,
he
in which
remembered
case
the
the vision will be
rules.
clear and helpful to me.
Kurt remembered a rule. Holy crap.
Very well done.
Even better, one that applied to himself in the right time.
Have I moved up to advanced beginner gamer
Almost.
from total
almost.
noob?
Yeah. You're an advanced amateur beginner.
All right.
All right, so at that point then, the vision starts murky, and then you remember that you had this you had a blueprint in your head just minutes ago, and you realize that the spot you're in is now that upper right quadrant of the blueprint. You can start to put the pieces together. And from what you can tell, as long as you can commit this to memory, you're going to be able to navigate to that spot. There are several other tunnels that lead here. One of them looks like it goes off in the distance, and another one looks like you can see the one that comes right up under the center of the bazaar. Then it looks like there's maybe 5 or 6 others that come up in different parts of the empire. But all of them lead towards, if this were a circulatory system, everything leads towards the heart. And that's the spot that you think is probably your next stop.
Okay, so before I lose the vision, I try as hard as I can to implant that in my memory.
Yep. So for the most
unlike
part,
Diary Girl, I don't have anything to write on.
Can I make a telepathic link with him?
you can once you check with your book. But
Once I check
the
with my
reason
book.
I wanted to word it that way is that's your +1 the next time you want to figure out where you are. So you're going to be using that forward when you act on the information. So implanting that into your brain is going to help you do that, right?
Okay.
And from there, Nestlis wanted to check with her diary.
So while he's communing with the earth,
Yeah.
Nestlis is going to go off in a corner and pull out her book and just be like, "Dear diary, I don't know why I continue to write in this book, given that you
It's been
haven't
weeks, at
responded
least, yeah.
in weeks. I guess old habits die hard. Here we are in the middle of yet another mess that Kalam'Te's gotten us into, and I don't know what to do. They won't let me fireball anything. I've got this weird sense that I'm supposed to go against my nature, otherwise Alyssa's going to be in danger, and I honestly don't know what to do next."
Alyssa? Who's Alyssa?
Elena. In my book, she's Alyssa.
Still.
So you have that.
And Nan just died right in front of us.
You have that email I sent you.
I do.
You get in, and this is if writing could be heard from far away. That's what this writing is like. It's like faint.
It's
like
very
a faint
faint. I have
voice
to
down the hallway type of thing.
I have to struggle to
Something
read
that
it.
reaches out. It's like where the writing before seemed like it was happening right on the page. This is writing that's like ghost writing from a distance.
It says...
It looks like it's coming from the page behind it.
Hey, I like
There you
that.
go.
Yeah.
So my diary writes, "I apologize for my absence, child. The gods are forbidden to interfere in this conflict. You may call upon me again once there is a clear victory. I may once again offer guidance and assistance at that time."
And And then
Joe.
it fades away.
And it fades
And then says Joe, yes.
Well, that was useful. She slams her book shut.
Son of a book.
Son of a biscuit maker. Now what?
Yeah, now
So
what?
that's what you have against non. Okay.
So what's your next step? You guys going to follow towards the heart, as it were?
Yes. The
Yeah.
heart seems like... I mean, we had a heart of darkness in the prophecy.
Yeah.
Now we have a heart of the catacombs.
There
I
you
think
go.
My favorite thing about what's happening right now is Elena's just kind of standing back, non-conspicuously.
Yes.
And every time someone turns around, they're like, "Oh, oh, never mind."
Yes, exactly. That's that. Oh, yeah.
Who let her in? Oh, okay.
How'd she? On your way to the heart is a perilous journey, but we're not going to treat it like the regular perilous journey. So this is a short journey. This is just traveling through a little dangerous spot.
Ooh, random encounters?
Where it's going to kind of be like that. Really, what I
Like
want
glory holes?
is I'm going to put this as somebody's going to be the scout, and it probably makes sense for it to be Truk, since he's the one with the blueprint in his head. And I'm just going to do the scout roll to see if you're able to spot the problem before the problem finds you. And here we go.
This is kind of like
he
the
threw
story.
it on the ground.
Dun, dun.
Oh, and it was a 6 on the ground.
Oh, snap.
Roll it
This
again.
is kind of like the story of life. Can you spot the problem before the problem spots you?
Exactly. What you got?
What's the modifier?
Wisdom.
7 plus 3 is 10.
Okay. Truk notices as you're leading the party into these catacombs, and clearly, if you guys weren't following Truk, you'd have been lost the 2 moments after you passed the first passageway. Every step, and think back again to the circulatory system, there are so many things crossing here and there. This is a full 3-dimensional. You're walking up and down, and there's passages to the left and right. There are even passages
room.
above you with like hand and footholds where you would climb through. But Truk is leading you apparently in an unfaltering way. Farther ahead, you see, before they notice you, some of these spiked demons that appear to be wandering the halls.
Guards.
Possibly.
Fireball it.
Truk does some perfectly audio podcast friendly motions.
I'm hand signaling to my
Alright, so
people.
he's masturbating his
Spike demons.
hands.
Spike demons.
He
It's
wants
either
to
spike
cosplay
demons
as a
or
cat.
bunny rabbits. You guys decide.
So with your 10, not only do I allow you to spot them before they spot you, but you're able to tell your party about them without you being discovered.
Right. So.
Just to make it easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I blow them up?
We don't know how many more there are ahead.
I think it behooves us, though, to
I'll barbecue them too.
take them out while we
You
still
hear
can.
you hear them mumbling things to each other, but you're not quite close enough to hear what they're saying.
Can I telepathically link with them and figure out what they're saying?
You have to touch them to do that.
I think we had established
No, that was dominate.
telepathy.
Telepathy.
Telepathy does require
I thought we
touch,
said it was a touch.
God damn
but
it.
dominate is not.
No, we did
Because
it
one
the
of us
other way
had to
around.
tap the other one earlier.
Well,
to
what
get
does
it.
the telepathy say?
Basically, I have
It's
a telepathic link.
here.
There it is. Form a telepathic bond with a single person you touch. Damn
There you
it!
So, short answer,
No.
not where you are right now.
Also,
but
has to be a single person. You're
happen.
currently in
With
my
you.
brain.
Yeah.
oh snap!
Oh snap! Still gonna blow them
So,
up.
do you want to go figure out what they're doing, Truk? You already.
Well, I
had
mean,
your scout roll.
I'm just
Elena
hesitant.
is non-observable, so
Well, she's not. She's camouflaged amongst Amarashians, but she is not amongst them right now. She actually stands out. She's the non-adventurer of
I
the
can
group.
make her invisible.
My instinct is
There
just.
you go. You can make somebody.
I can make
invisible.
somebody invisible.
You want to make me invisible and I can sneak up to see what they're talking about?
Sure.
I'm just hesitant to crispy them until I know if there's 50 more, 50 yards ahead.
That's a good point.
Okay, so
Would
with
you rather
my
be facing all of them at once?
invisibility,
What's the difference between 48 and 50?
2.
Wow, he's observant.
I mathed.
I'd rather. Yeah. So can you make me sneaky?
touch an ally, nobody can see them. They're invisible. The spell persists until the target attacks, or you dismiss the effect.
Go ahead and cast that spell, Nephilis.
Casting a spell.
She's saying it again. Not the spell name this time.
10
though.
plus Awesomeness.
Oh, heck yeah. So, Truth, you vanish from your own
Yeah,
sight.
2.
3.
It's one less awesomeness than usual.
And
Still a 12.
the spike demons don't really care about anyone sneaking
But
up
I
on them,
remembered.
apparently. You don't even need to sneak. They're making
That's
enough
the
noise on
important
their
part.
own. The spikes on their body drag the ground as they
until it
walk,
stops, by the
brushing
way.
against the hallways. So they're making plenty of noise, which is one reason you're able to spot them before they saw you. You get close enough, and there are a lot of them conversations going on, but you clearly see the biggest one talking about how, in whatever a spike demon voice sounds like, I'm sure it's something scruffy of, the master says they must have escaped into the dungeons. They're down here. We can find them.
How many of them do I see?
In this group, there's probably, 10 or so, but they go around the corners, and there's some climbing up, some going down the different chutes that are in here, and there's definitely plenty of them, and it sounds like they're on the lookout for you guys, most likely. And it's, he says, the master says once we have them, we should capture the monk, too, and kill him. The others are of no consequence. The Emperor has the druid, and the other one, that magic user, they are useless to us. We only need the monk and the ones who escaped.
Can you make us all invisible?
No.
Negative.
I can crispy them,
What does
though.
it take to end an effect?
It depends on who started it and how they decide it ends. If it's a spell, the person who cast it can just drop it. But
By
if it's
effect,
something
I
like
mean,
the thing that you have,
Stunned?
we're going to say that went away with the Night of Sleep.
Okay. You're
So
no longer
you're no
stunned.
longer
You get your
stunned.
full plus 3.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, should we be trying to pick these guys off, or should we be trying to get by them and keep moving towards the heart?
I don't want anybody sneaking up behind me.
10 demons is a lot of demons.
Well, this is a cavern, right?
You are
these
in a
are
maze of tunnels.
These are tunnels. A
there's-
large enough fireball with some wind behind it would clear that tunnel.
You guys did something similar to that in the temple,
the
if I remember right.
cleaners.
Sucked all the oxygen out of the air.
That too.
But hey, it
Drop.
worked, right? And they continue talking. They're talking about how they can't wait to get back in power again, and how once their master defeats the emperor, he will have his power back. The emperor must not be allowed to claim it himself.
So these are baddies.
There's no real kind of advantage mechanism here, is there? Like if I'm invisible and I want to come up and wail on someone from behind?
You just deal damage. If they're not aware of you, you don't roll to attack. You just deal damage.
But the second you do that, your invisibility drops.
Right.
Yeah. And then you've just done 10 damage to one guy, and you're standing in the middle.
And you're in the
of
middle of
Right,
all
exactly.
of them.
Yeah.
So why don't you come back? I'll send a fireball.
Oogie.
Let's pipe
Or-
cleaner this.
Does
Or we
Calamity
could
have
just-
any ideas?
Yeah, I think we should just head straight to the heart.
Oh,
We've got to
as a
go.
note, by
We've
the
got to
way,
go past them.
As a note, the discussions that you hear, Calamity, they're all speaking the truth. There's no lies being told here.
Okay.
But we'd have to go by them.
To take the path that Truk has set in his mind, you have to go through this group.
Exactly.
You could probably find a way around, but that would most
That would
likely
take time.
involve another role of some type.
And time that we don't have.
You hear above you the stamping of the crowds. It seems like there's some kind of chaos going on overhead.
Do you think you could try your Naga trick again and claim to be the daughter of the demon?
She doesn't
You
need
are
to
the
claim.
daughter of the demon.
I am the daughter of the demon.
Exactly.
I love that.
All right,
I wouldn't
stand
mind
back,
that.
people.
Stand back.
Get out of my way.
Make sure you
need to drop your
demon up a
glamour.
little bit more.
Oh, it's easy.
It's easy. She just drops all the facade.
I just drop all the facade.
Yeah.
All right, Kalam'Te, for once you've come up with a good idea.
Right at the end.
Right at the
You got
end.
At the
good
end.
idea. Nice.
All right,
Every now
so-
and then a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah.
So you guys would stand. I'd ask you guys to stand back. Nessalus drops her facade and just takes on her hauteur
Hautia.
stance. Walks up to the nearest spike demon
Yeah.
and says, "Have you found them yet?"
All right. So maybe one or two saw you approaching, and there was some quizzicality.
Quizzically.
They were quizzic. Anyway,
They were quizzing.
They were quizzing.
They
If a
quizzed
quiz
that,
is
yeah.
quizzical,
and
questioning.
as you announce your
Let's get
your authority, the big guy turns
You must
to
respect my authority.
The big guy turns to you, and he does not look like he wants to do anything you say, but he's also kind of just standing there. And perhaps if you find a way to convince him of something, what is your next step? You're
Uppercut.
clearly
Dominate.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. There it is.
There is a clear danger that you are about to be beset on by several quizzic spike demons.
Your touch is a slap.
Exactly. Uppercut.
Okay, to a spiked demon.
Well, there's
Gingerly.
there's a soft spot
soft spot.
underneath the jaw, so
Okay.
that's what I go for. Just kind of
Okay.
like a uppercut. Pa! Don't you recognize me? I'm the daughter.
Okay, so let's get that.
Dantalion.
Let's go ahead and roll the cast a spell for dominate.
Wouldn't you call him like our dark father or something?
No,
Our,
because that makes
my.
her just
Yeah.
sound like every other demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're
they are his
beneath
slaves. They call him master.
That's it.
Master.
10?
7 plus 3.
Okay,
Master
so
of
you've
puppets.
got
Because
the
I'm not
dominate.
stunned anymore, right?
That is correct. The overnight sleep got that out of the way.
Woo!
And dominate
Good call there, Alyssa.
allows you to get 1 d4 hold. So go ahead and roll a d4, and let's see how many hold you get for the spell.
As soon as I find a D4,
Okay.
I'll roll the metal one.
Oh, snap.
2.
2. So you have 2 holds. So you're able to
Excuse
do
me.
those 3 things. Or, I'm sorry, 4 things. But pick 2 of them, and you start with 1, of course.
Truth.
Now, you kind of, like with the Naga, you speak a few words of your choice in order to get them to acknowledge you. Remember that you got the
Yeah.
Naga to acknowledge you as the ruler?
Trying to decide between that. I
Okay.
tell, to the spike demon I'm in front of, I make him turn around to the rest of them and say,
The boss, yeah.
and make him turn around to the rest of them and say, the daughter of our Lord has arrived, or something to that effect.
Okay. And that happens. So he turns around, and so there's this glimmer of recognition as he looks at you again, sees who you are in your current form, in your demonic form, as it were. And he does that. He turns around, and he addresses the rest, and he says, as the master has decreed, she has arrived. She is here for us now.
That's right.
And what's next?
Finish that.
Yeah, you tell the demons, finish that.
Finish that! Finish them! The path behind me is clear. Go forward and clear my way. I want these stragglers found before my father arrives. Yeah. Kind of sending them away.
Okay. What I'll say is you're going to use your second hold to get that done, and really you're going to use him to order the other guys around, right?
And tell them
Okay.
to go away.
Then that happens. You got it. At this point, the demon horde starts marching in front of you.
What?
What am I?
What are you
looking at?
passing up for?
Oh, that's mine? Oh, my bad.
Okay. We're trying to figure out cup
Drink
logistics
situation.
at the table. Yeah, so they start marching in front of you, but they do span out because they're still searching as far as what you've told them. And what are you guys doing?
I got rid of the spikies for you.
Mostly. They're still in front of you. They're
No,
not
they're-
completely splitting up. There's some that are still following the same path, but they're in front of you.
Now what?
Kurt, your microphone is not on.
He would know that if he had headphones.
He would.
Are we sure we shouldn't just supercharge fireball them from behind now that they're all in front of us?
There are some in front of you. They split up. They're searching for somebody. They're split up into searching parties. There is one party in front of you, including the boss of the demons. The biggest spike demon, because that's always the boss when it comes to demons. And
You got him under control. We should probably just...
Not
Are
anymore.
we following them? Is that what we're doing?
if you're continuing on the path that Truk knows, then there are some of them in front of you.
And I'm invisible still.
You
For
haven't
now.
attacked anything
Yeah,
yet.
you haven't attacked anything, and I haven't dropped... Well,
No.
I would have had to drop the spell.
Yeah,
to,
Oh,
to-
because you cast a spell. Yes,
Ah.
you are not.
So you're not
invisible.
invisible. You are very visible.
Uh-huh.
So I need to stay out of sight.
You do need to stay out of sight.
I'm going to hide behind you.
I think everybody needs to be behind her.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep up this new facade, which really isn't a facade, but more along the lines of telling them what to do, you really are the daughter of the demon. But
You really are. That's not even a lie.
right. But to be able to order them around, you've never done this before. It took the spell to do it. Mm-hmm. All right. So you're following them deeper into the maze of catacombs and tunnels that lead towards the heart. And at one point, Kalam'Te, you recognize one of these paths that branches off is the path that you took in last time when you were here with Cassilee.
Oh, wow.
And
So
it branches right into the spot that you are walking in, and you can see up ahead of you, not far in the distance, that room where the stone snake is. And right at that doorway entrance where the demons are headed in front of you, you behind them, you can see what is just the barest resemblance to Cassilee in Naga form standing at that entrance, and she casts a lightning bolt straight at the demons. And that's where we're going to end this episode of Adventures from the Shed. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany.
So she just toasted the demons that were in front of us?
She has cast a lightning bolt at them as we end the episode.
Whether or not they're toast, that remains to be determined.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Goodbye. We'll
Take that
say...
bitch down. Bye, penis.
Yes.
Touchdown.
After the spectacle in the bazaar where Nassan is slain by the Emperor, Nessalus, Kalam'Te, Truk, and Elena flee to the safety of the catacombs under Amarash. Truk helps lead them towards the heart of the caverns to find Cassilee awaits. Thanks for joining us. The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.